Okay. What's up, you guys? Welcome in. If you would like to donate to the channel, you want to donate to my channel, you want to do a tip, here it is. Now, we got some things to discuss. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's start with our intro. I can put in the words where have you been? Nobody knows me like you do. Nobody don't love me quite like you can. Even deny it every time I try. When I look in my eyes, you know I'm lying. All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. Now, if you watch the replay, I hope you know this is called. I'm calling this lawsuits and prenup showdown. Okay, so we're gonna get into Portia now. Portia has won her prenup case with Simon. She's officially won. It's over. He can't go against the prenup negotiations or whatever he's trying to throw at her to use, okay? So Portia and Simon was married for what, like 2 years? I guess that was part of the prenup. Now he didn't want her to work for Real Housewives of Atlanta at all. She couldn't work once they got married, so she let go of that in the Ricky Smiley show. And his thing was to take care of the children, including his 3 children from previous relationships and marriages, and her daughter. Take care of the household, feed them, make sure everything was great. Your life will be lavish and lovely, okay? Well, I don't know what happened between the time. I guess she went ahead and signed up for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, when we heard she was supposed to be Porsha Gabadia back on the show, and from what we're understanding, it was Portia Williams. It was never Gabadia. Hold on, y'all. My bad, y'all. So it became that. Now she went, and from what we understood, first she was saying, be his peace. And then next day, he was served with goddamn divorce papers. So Portia Williams prevails over ex Simon Gabadia in prenup battle. Now he was trying to get the $1 million home that he brought for Portia. He was trying to get all of that. She said that he was broke and he was this and that. Well, I guess her and her lawyer did some digging and find out that Simon is worth $300 million. Worth $300 million, allegedly. 300, not 3,000, not 300, not 3 million, my bad, $300 million. Simon is worth $300 million. Portia says she don't care. She done claim he had an erect effect, the whatever. Then he couldn't get it up there. Okay. Then she claimed that he don't have a social security in Atlanta, all this and that. That came out to where he needed to do what he had to do for citizenship. Then he came out and called her all types of whatever. So he's been coming at her. Okay, so we're gonna read it to what this website at People, I think it was People Magazine. Yeah, People Magazine had to say and what Simon had to say. So it reads, hold on, let me hide this one. You know what's up. What's up? Why is it not showing? All right, y'all, we back. Okay, I guess people trying to steal people cheering again. That's normal. Listen, leave them kids alone. Please, leave them alone. Let them stay with their mama. If you want through a custody battle, work it out. Please work it out. All right, now let's get back. So it says here, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Porsha Williams has won a legal battle in her ongoing divorce proceedings with Simon Gabadia. A Fulton County judge court ruled on Thursday, September 12th, which was yesterday, okay, that Williams 43 and Gabadia's prenuptial agreement is imperfectly fair after Gabadia 60 tried to contest its enforceability. So basically, he was saying when she signed up for that show, it wasn't in a time frame, and because he has money, he's going to keep it going, right? That's exactly what he said. I'm sorry, I said people, but it's U.S. There's basic U.S. magazine. I'm sorry, people, U.S. They all the same. Okay, so when he signed it, that's basically what he said. Now it says Williams lawyers argue that because the prenup has not been deemed unenforceable, the court should not allow any discovery of materials whatsoever or limit discovery to requests that are immediately irrelevant to determine the enforceability of the prenup. The court agreed with Williams' argument. My bad, hold on, y'all. Argument denying Gobadia's emergency motion to compel mandatory and additional discovery. So he wanted her to send that she was supposedly allegedly messing with Future. Yes, he said Future. She was back messing with Janice and all these other people. Oh, that ain't all he said. That so the girl that do the snob life with the snob hair, allegedly he was trying to say she was they were messing around too. So he wanted all them text messages, honey. And he was gonna do it because she didn't want to give up the house. Let's continue. Gabadia previously claimed that when he signed the prenup, he was under the impression that Williams intended to be a housemaker and stay at home, a mom during the marriage. He argued that Williams' desire to return to reality television, or other employment constitutes a non-disclosure of material fact, misinterpretation, I'm sorry, y'all, which renders the prenup unenforceable, okay? The court disagreed with Gabbard on Thursday, noted that Williams' future employment plans are not mentioned whatsoever in the ex's prenup, and that Williams has been a reality TV celebrity for years. I mean, you knew who she was when you married her, which was now well known to Gabadia when he signed the agreement. The document also notes that Williams and Gabadia negotiated the agreement for over 1 year, beginning in November in 2021, and ruled that there is no evidence to support the fraud, duress, mistake, misinterpretation, or non-disclose of material facts took place during negotiation. U.S. Weekly has reached out to Williams, okay, and Williams filed divorce in February after 15 months of marriage. She did. 1 week, therefore, filing the legal document, Bravo announced that Williams had returned to Real Housewives of Atlanta after a 2-year break. She previously appeared on season 5 through 13. I'm incredibly thankful for the vision and the faith NBC Universal has put into me to be a larger part of the family. Williams said in a statement to Deadline at the time, I'm looking forward to bringing back the Real Housewives of Atlanta, showing the world my new world. Okay, now she was supposed to show the house and everything. Side note, this before her and Nene fell out, so I don't know. We're going to discuss Nene a little bit. Well, I want to do a little Real Housewives. So Nene had also won her legal case, and because it was going on for a while, she won. So she get to work with NBC and Universal, and they're doing baby steps. Now, I don't know who the housewife is that may be coming back for season 17, because they just wrapped 16. I believe this is 16. Season 17. Okay. Now, I hope she is coming back because it will feel great to have Portia, Phaedra, the original girls of the good season, good old 5 that we got with the tea and everything. So I'm not sure, but as a side note, so I hope they do, because from what I heard, Portia was trying to stop her bag allegedly, but let's keep going. None of us knew any of this on the horizon, and this was really meant to be Portia's happily ever after kind of victory lap season. Cohan 56 says during a February episode of his series, The AM Show, Andy Cohen Live. Okay, so he was surprised. Okay, so we read all that, whatever. Now she been divorced from Tordell, little mama. She's 5 years old now. Now Simon had some things to say, and Simon is very, very bitter. That's what I call it, bitter. He kind of is, and we're gonna get into why I feel like he's better. So it says here, he posted it and he said, when is People magazine going to realize they are being used as propaganda machine to propagate lies? Here is an expert of the Fulton County judge order. The matter is handed to the appeal court level in major publication. And then he showed this. Okay, now it's basically saying that she was trying to hold out. She basically said he had some coin that no one knew about. So Neighborhood Talk had, posted all this, a shout out to Neighborhood Talk. And someone said, and Neighborhood Talk said, not a win, a stretch, shaking my head. Simon, go ahead. So basically, she won. He's upset about it. He's not happy about it, right? He said, win is a stretch. So someone named of Mifiko for real said she is the granddaughter of Hosea Williams. Simon, please, basically, like you knew her name, whole weight, which it does. Okay, her grandfather was a civil rights for for the black people at the time. This is his granddaughter. Even though we got 265 days a year, I think she meant to say 365 days. Even though he tried to use that, but whatever. So Simon said, Jose Williams is doing flips in his grave. His legacy did not sign up for his granddaughter's behavior in the last 12 years. Ex first husband, how he feels. So you've been talking to the first husband. You've been talking to the first husband. Interesting. Here's my thing with Simon. I feel like Simon is bitter. I feel like Simon is hurt because the way Portia did him. And I feel like Portia was his, karma, because look how he did Fallon. I still don't see how Fallon could sit here and root for this man when he done kicked you out. I mean, yes, you did have an outside baby, but he kicked you and your kids out and didn't care. Like, I'm just saying, they both was wrong. And then Portia came around to be his karma. So I'll keep y'all updated on, how this divorce go, what's going to be paid and everything. But we're going to get into some more lawsuits. So this here's Danity Kane, right? Um, we're gonna go back into 2005, and then we're gonna all the way fast forward to 2004. Well, 2024. Well, I'm saying 2004. So I hope you guys are ready because we're gonna go back to when we first met them, how everything started, and then we're gonna fast forward to what's going on, and we're gonna talk about this legal lawsuit that Dawn has filed. She did appropriate filing, but I'm not sure she's gonna win it. I'm gonna say because you have like a certain time that you have to file and everything, but we're going to go from 2004, 2005, all the way to now, okay? And how I feel like when we read the legal documents, how I feel like what she's saying is true and how it's tied in. Because I remember watching Making the Band when he first did the rap group and everybody fizzled out. Remember that? And then he came back and did a girl group. I remember, and we're gonna get into it because it's in the in the affidavit. I remember him saying D Woods was fat and she needed to lose 30 pounds. I remember that. It was on TV. I remember when he told Aubrey O'Day that she's hanging with the Kardashians and got some notoriety that she wanted to have the fake boobs and the fake butt and the fake face. Now, he didn't lie about that. I remember that too. So we gonna get into it. So this is Danity Kane. Okay, little Gen Zs, I want you guys to sit down and drink your Coke and drink your snacks if you're watching. And I'm going to give you a little history of why everyone is talking about this now and not then when we were growing up. And there's some evidence. So, guys, this is Danity Kane. Danny Kane, besides Destiny Childs and all the other girl groups, and you got your Escape CSWVs, they were still popping in, okay, in the early 2000s. Everybody still spread out, but they were still doing their thing, and you had Pussycat Dolls and all them other ladies, right? And shout out to them because they made our time great. You had Danity Kane. Danity Kane became more special because the girl group thing was starting to fizzle out. You had Pussycat Dolls, Melanie, Trey, and all saying her and Nicole had some issues. And you had Escape kind of falling to the wayside, things coming out around that time, even though they were writing music. It was a time, even though Escape started in the 90s, they still had some things together just as well as so they were trying to come back. They were trying to come back. Remember that? Because that's when T.I. and Tiny got together, okay? Remember that? And there was other girls, that were trying to do the comeback thing. Danity Kane was the girl group, after we got that last Beyonce album, not Beyonce, I'm sorry, Destiny Child album with Kelly Michelle and Beyonce, the Destiny Fulfilled, they were fizzing out. We got Danity Kane. So Danity Kane was the start of, before Danity Kane, so Danity Kane was the start of my bad, y'all, little people. So Danity Kane was the start of the new girl group era, right? Now, Danny Kane started with Making the Band. Making the Band came out. Diddy' whole idea and plan was to have, he had the rap group, he had the singer, a female rapper, and two male rappers. Now, I remember when we first saw them, everything was cool because they walked in with who he called himself at the time, Puff Combs, right? Puffy. Everybody called him Puffy. And they was at the New Orleans, because one of them was from New Orleans, and they was in New Orleans at the Classic. Now remember, that was the last time we saw them. We never got an album. We got a song, whatever. That was it, right? Okay. And Sarah had, her name was Sarah. I remember Sarah. Sarah was one of my favorites. And she was married, had kids at the time, right? Okay, cool. So after that fizzled, it didn't work. He started doing a girl group, and there was 20 or 30 something girls. Now, this before he started with Day 26. Day 26 didn't come apart yet. So then out of all the 26 girls, he picked these five girls that are now Danity. That was Danity Kane. It was Shannon, Dawn, Audrey, Aubrey, who was on Baddies, okay, and D Woods. It was five of them. Now we got our first album, which was great. Everybody loved that album. Then we got the second album a year later. After the second album, he fired Aubrey and D Woods on that last season. And it was three remaining: Shannon, Dawn, and Audrey. Okay, keep up. Adrian. I'm gonna call her Audrey. Adrian, I think that was her name. And I remember Don saying if he let Audrey or Adrian when she left and she was like, I'm gonna go home, it's not the same because they was in a standstill. They didn't know what they were gonna do. Don would just went in the studio and start writing because she was like, okay, if it's three of us, remember that episode, I am going to sit here and just write for us for the album. Okay, then Shannon went home because she was like, there is no group. And Dawn, I remember Dawn sitting in the studio on that episode, and she said, what the F am I going to do? Everybody's leaving. Like, what am I going to do? Right? So Dawn proceeded to say, hey, I've been going back home to Baltimore after leaving New Orleans. She showed where she lived in New Orleans, everything. She was young. And I remember she did, now we talking about the interview. Keep up with me. And she left and did the interview when she said she was in Baltimore and they had to write. She had to go meet Kalina. And that's when they started to write, do all things for the last train in Paris. He wasn't sure how it was going to go. So he decided to make it a Dirty Money. Okay, Dirty Money. That's what the name of the group was. And I remember the last Train to Paris was the one and the only album they had, and that was the best album that we have gotten in that era. That album was top notch. Okay. Now we're gonna go to fast forward a little bit. Dirty money is no longer no more. We don't know what happened. We have been sitting here. We've been noticing Kalena went on Love and Hip Hop. She got into it with Rashida. Then we go and drop into basically, Dawn doing her own album. She's sending him praises. Everybody's sending him praises. Everybody praised him when the world was. But somehow when Cassie wasn't, and Cassie came on her truth, and then we noticed about Kim before her deceased. And then we're learning about Cassie not being happy. And we learned Cassie broke up with him and got with her now husband. And then we were like, okay, what is really going on? Something's not right. And then we started noticing people in businesses that he were dealing with was falling to the wayside. There were lawsuits coming out. It's just a mess. Now we have seen when Day 26 had to go walk. I don't think these late Danity Kane when they did they season had to go get cheesecake in New York, cross the bridge. But I knew something wasn't right with Diddy because he sat there and told them, man, they had to sing and walk in the cold in New York across the bridge in Brooklyn to the cheesecake place and bring him a cheesecake. And people started coming out saying that they're not getting paid. We're going to get into this lawsuit. So Don Richard has filed a lawsuit, a complaint against Diddy and all of his LLCs, everything attached. Now he has some things with his mother. Now it's coming out now. We might as well say it. He has some businesses at LLCs. His things happen in his daughter's name and in his mother's name. She's also suing that as well. Now we're gonna read it. I'm gonna be talking over some things. I'm gonna put words in, and we're not gonna physically describe those words. I'm going to put in things that are of those cuss words, okay? So we're going to get into it. So for nearly a decade, Mr. Combs manipulated Ms. Richards with mantras that submission to his deprived demands was necessary for career advancement, instilling in her that the belief that such abuse and exploitation were required for female artists to succeed in the music industry. It was not until Ms. Ventura's had bravery in coming forward that Miss Richard realized her own personal suffering was tied to many years of from Mr. Combs that had been normalized for her. As more women courageously come forward, plaintiff has been empowered by this collective strength and now adds her voice to the growing chorus of victims bravely sharing their harrowing stories. Together, they seek justice and stand in solidarity as the last victims of the Me Too movement in the music industry. Now, this should let you know she got Lisa Bloom. Me Too movement, that's Lisa Bloom thing. You remember she did the Kelly Rowland thing. We gonna continue. Now, like I said, I am. If this triggered you, you are a victim of any kind. Please, if you feel like you can't watch this video, you can log out, click out, don't watch. Let's continue. In around 2004, Miss Richard was selected to participate in season 3 of MTV Network's reality television show, Making the Band. The show centered around the formation and development of a new musical group under the mentorship of Mr. Combs. The contestants would complete and be chosen by Mr. Combs to form a band, which would go on to create albums and perform. For aspiring artists like Miss Richards, the Making a Band represented a concrete path to a career in the entertainment industry, as Miss Richard appeared in season 3 and 4 of Making a Band, which aired in 2005, season 5 of Making His Band, which aired in 2009. Okay, so basically, trying to make that bigger, y'all. I don't know if you can see it, but it says the girl group Danny Kane, formed by defendant Sean Combs, Mr. Combs, and later Y'all, I'm trying to read it because it's so small. Basically, he got them into making a band. I'm just gonna say it like that, okay? So basically, there was some physical violence they had witnessed. That's basically what she said. There was some violence. Um, he called them bees. There were times they did not eat. There were times they were in the studio. Yeah, we just gonna show it. If I can't read it, we gonna go into it. Y'all can look it up. Forget it. So there were times they were. I'm just gonna take out from what I know. Okay, I ain't gonna read that. Screw that. There were times that she said that they were called bees. She had started when she was young. He told her she was ugly, and he said you need to do something with yourself, and you're too with your face, and you're too skinny. That's what he told her when they formed Daddy Kane. Like I said before, he told the girls that they were fat. There were times that she would stay dressed in her makeup, in her hair. She would sit in a chair and sleep on end. There were times where they had the mic pack, that be on your back. She had, excuse me, some issues of abrasions at that time as well. Okay. Um, yeah, there were times that she said that when Danny came, she showed that where they got fired. She talked about that in the affidavit. She also talked about how he would call them out their name. There was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of sorry y'all, my allergies and it's a little cold. My allergies triggering my throat, my asthma, but please forgive me. There were a lot of times to where he would talk bad about the girls. She was in a contract at that time, and basically there were times to where basically that he she was in a contract at 17, and he would ask her, hey, well, you in this contract, now remind you, she's 17, y'all. You in this contract, did you ever sleep with anyone? Because they won't let go of you. And they had to call her father to get her out the contract because that was not in her contract to be on the show, to be picked. So he had her try on these clothes about 50, 11 times, telling her she didn't look cute, her body was skinny, and she was ugly. That's exactly what it says in there, okay? Then it goes to state that basically what happened was after everything happened, there were days where they had to record, they were not eating. They would record for hours, they had no food, they would be thirsty until whatever was done. Then she said that the girls got mistreated. They got called bees a lot. Rehearsal was days on end, meaning let's say they start filming around 8 o'clock, right? Film is at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Now how TV go, he didn't care. He wanted them to film till 8 that morning or 8 the next morning. Okay. Remember that 8 the next morning to 8 that night, basically, allegedly. That's what she's saying. Like I would have a bruise or whatever. Okay, so let's get to the tea time about everything else. Now, she also stated, I want y'all to listen because this is the key parts. She also stated that when they broke up, she didn't know what to do. She went home. She was broke for 6 to 7 months. He called with the idea that's in the affidavit. Remember, I said that about doing the group. He told her to go to Atlanta to meet with Kalena. He got her to Atlanta. They came out, did their thing. At first, he did not want her to record. She said, Diddy, can I record? He tells her she got to do it with her own money. So she started writing, right? She was in Baltimore at the time. Okay. She got the call that they wanted to do the show, did Dirty Money. Came into that was a conference. Now, when he went to LA to film, she said that when she went to his house, not the film, I'm sorry, record. She went to his house. Cassie was there. They were met with Cassie. She said she was also there when Cassie was with that producer guy, Ryan Leslie, and how he inserted himself and blackballed Ryan Leslie. She also stated in this document that Kim Porter left the studio when she first started, and she left with marks on her face from him, crying, putting on sunglasses. She also stated that he has groped her inappropriately and she told him to stop with it with the dirty money. She also has came out and said when he threw Ed, we was at Cassie, stayed with him in LA, he was off rugs, off substance, and her and Kalena was going to intervene. Kalena said she wasn't going to intervene because that's none of her business. So she went to try to intervene with Cassie at the time. And and he came downstairs. Okay, so this what happened. He came downstairs, okay? And I moved up a little bit. Let me come back. He came downstairs. He said, B, I can't effing stand you. I've been waiting for my ish. Cassie is cooking him eggs. He picks up the pan, throws the eggs in the hot pan at her, and she goes on the floor, covered, crying. He drags her upstairs to the house, closes and locks the door, and throws glass and other things at Cassie. He comes downstairs and he tells Kalina and Don and says, don't tell my B what to do. Don't say nothing to my B. I'm in. I will have your career finished. She also states he has smacked her on her bottom and said, even though you're skinny, you got a nice round round. There were times where she would get dressed and she would say, hey, don't touch me. Hey, don't touch me. Hey, don't touch me. He kept touching her, giving flirtatious like, oh, I see what that is. She said that last tour they did the SNL. She didn't get paid on the tour. When she got there, she said it was some guys and his former assistant at the time. I'm giving y'all blanks. It's all in affidavit. Keep up with me. Former assistant at the time. She got ran a choo-choo on by him and his homeboys. And when she asked him about the assistant, he said, I don't give a F about her, F her. He made it to where she could not leave the UK with her passport. He took her passport. She also said they went out to dinner. There was Usher, Neo, and I guess the guy over Interscope. I guess it was the guy over Interscope or someone with Interscope. They all was having dinner, and he was being very aggressive to Cassie to where he did something to her in a painful way in front of all of them, and no one said nothing. She says she has witnessed him getting girls on the bus, bringing them to his parties, um, and having them at the parties, and she would try to get the assistant to make her go out the back door and leave because if he found out she left, it was an issue. She also stated in this affidavit that Kalena, who we're going to talk about, had a victim DV relationship with her husband. And it got back to them and it went back to the husband. And that's why her songs, her parts in the songs were gone. She couldn't perform them, right? Now, this one is very, very to why Dirty Money is no more. So we thought, okay, when he won the award, it was over, which he did tell her that once they won the award, it was over. It was nothing else to look forward to. It was done, right? Well, that's not what happened. That Don said that's not fully true. Dirty Money ended. because he locked her up in a car for hours and she had to call her father. So they were supposed to be performing Saturday Night Live and they didn't get a car, cab call, or nothing. And they were at the studio at the time to perform. So I think this happened before, so they were recording. It was one or two. It was he told them to come down there, get y'all bees down there. Y'all don't want it bad enough. Y'all don't want this. Get y'all bees need to come down here. All you B, right? Don and Kalina called a cab. They called a cab, got there. He told them they didn't want to make no money. What's that? But they never got paid. Kalina even talked about she was broke doing Love and Hip Hop. We'll get into that later. Um, this is where it went crazy. They got into it that day, and she bucked up at him. Security and Kalina carried her to a car, a truck, black truck. It was cold in the middle of winter in New York. There were no windows. There were no handles for them to get out. When she realized there was no handle to get out, she thought about what he said to her. When he said he in careers and people disappear, know him no longer, right? Allegedly, okay, that's what he said. And she tried to get out the car. She used Kalina's phone to call her dad. Well, they got Kalina out the car, but Dawn's sitting there for 2 hours. It's freezing in the cold. The only light is coming from the car. The windows are black. You can't see outside, nothing. You don't know what's going on. You just know you're in the car. You don't. She was in there for 2 hours. Her dad called. Her dad drove from Baltimore all the way to New York to come get her. Okay. When he got there, they got her out. They stood there and he said he was going to contact the police, the officials, right? Diddy tells him, you need to think about your family, you need to think about your daughter's career. And that was, I think that's what ended Dirty Money. She hadn't spoke to him, haven't seen him, and I think going through saying, hey, you know what? I'm glad she stood up. I knew this was coming. And I'm gonna tell you why I knew this was coming. I know Aubrey's been talking. Aubrey don't give a darn. Aubrey's been running it wild. D Woods had already said that she had to go talk to him because she was finna sue him about getting out her contract with Diddy Kane. Remember that? They had a conversation. D Woods, blatantly, y'all gotta look it up. She did an interview and she was like, we had a conversation like, I know you, you know me, you know what's up, like, what's up? She got out the contract, right? Now, after this whole lawsuit came out, Don has been quiet. But Kalina, this is Kalina. Y'all remember Kalina? Got into it with Rashida, became friends with Jocelyn. I guess they ain't friends no more. She was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This is Kalina's husband. Remember Kalina had the girlfriend and her husband, right? Remember that? This is Kalina now. Kalina has been on a healing journey, focusing on her music, still writing. So everybody's been like, what Kalina got to say? What Kalina got to say? Kalina. Kalina said, I got something to say. Kalina blankly said, and I should have fixed my thing. I'm sorry I didn't edit it, but we're here. She basically said her and her husband Tony has acted right on professional. She basically said they've been professional. She's not going to recant anything that Don had with her experiences. Those are her experiences, and she stand by her with those experiences. But when it come to her and her husband Tony have not had any issues at all. They've always acted professional in a setting for business. But she says this to Don, meaning what Don said about Cassie and happy with Diddy and her is true. But what's not true is about me and my husband. That's what she said. She said, "Oh yeah, he ain't pay us. Oh yeah, she kind of agreed to it a little bit. Oh, and then the way like allegedly. Oh yeah, girl, I ain't getting no check." Now remember, Kalina didn't get a check. Kalina was staying in hotels. Kalina got her house with whatever he paid her. He didn't pay them like that. I'm telling you. Let me tell you something. Everybody in Atlanta know who stayed on the south side knew Kalina had a big house. I don't know what happened After Love and Hip Hop, Kalina was in a hotel on the south side with her husband and her kids. Yes. Then she moved into apartment. Then she got back into writing because she couldn't do anything and got so that's why Kalina said, no, she's for real. But what that happened to me and my husband is not true. I don't think Diddy will ever come back from this. And I hate to say this, and a lot of y'all be like, oh, Young Miami still with him. Why she still with him? Y'all forgot how this man move. Yes, Young Miami. What can she do? What can she do? For years, he has been pinned to Pac, Biggie, Kim Porter now, allegedly. So I don't think he's coming back from this. Diddy is stuck with this. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of stuff that come out. Now I feel like the people that's gonna have something to come out with, and they trying to expose, we gonna keep names there because we know who tried to expose them. It'll be about shady business, but it won't be about what Diddy has done. Diddy stuff. This is why a lot of people have not been around Diddy. If y'all paid attention, this is why a lot of businesses has stopped their money with Diddy, cut the water off, can't do business. This is why, because no one wants to be tied to that. Listen, like I said before, if he like to have F falls like he was Uncle Luke, you remember Uncle Luke had his time at the time when he was, he was Cloud 12, 13, 14, 15. We get it. Like, okay, that's cool. That's what you like to do. But when you go to putting your paws on folks, dragging them down the hall, threatening how they eat and their livelihood and what they work hard for, that is beyond repair. You have messed up. Like, I don't think he could come back from this. I don't. And then I can't get mad at his sons and his kids for standing up for him because at some point, he's a parent. That's the only parent they have, you know? So they're going to stand up, except for the other two kids. But the ones that lost their mom, they going to stand up. That's the only parent they got. So yeah, they're going to stand up. But can Diddy come back? Hell no. Diddy going to have to go to his, he just going to have to go, you know, and take this with him when he ends. And it's going to be between him and God. I told y'all when Diddy got that tattoo, I told y'all this was coming. I said that tattoo is gonna be his self-destruction. And his tattoo is that self-destruction. Because that tattoo, if you look up what it means, and I said when I looked at it, a lot of people was telling him he need to take it off. He still got that tattoo. So I said, hold on, let me go look this up. And I would watch a young lady who does a lot of Haitian. She don't do it, but she talks about it because she is from Haitian. We're gonna get into Haitian stuff tomorrow. But she said about that lady and that tattoo, I said, I'm gonna go look this up and do my research because I hear a lot of people talk about it. Diddy is not the woman to protect him. And that's why he exposed. Y'all gonna leave folks alone. Y'all gonna leave that stuff over there. Let me tell you something. She is whooping his butt between him and the good Lord. They're the butt whippings. Oh, you empowered. You know, it's one thing to get whooped and you can heal. But it sucks to get lashes when you know better. It just sucks. So I hope Dawn wins. A lot of people thinking she could win and she could not because of jurisdiction. And I agree, but I feel like some majority of what she's saying is evidence. Um, you will have to see if MTV or VH1 want to corroborate. We was on MTV, but VH1 is now MTV. Okay. And part of owners are with BET. I'm just telling you allegedly, but we're gonna see. No shade, I ain't mean to bust their bubble, but we're gonna see that there are evidence from the show, and I wouldn't be surprised they start playing "Making the Band" for these evidence. Like that'd be crazy. So Don came out. I'm waiting. The one person that would shock me to come out is the one that stood between Aubrey and Don. If she come out and Shannon, if they come out, it's over. That man could kiss everything goodbye. If they come out that they didn't get paid half the time from him, things of this nature, and you know who else I want to come out? I want Farnsworth Bentley and Lorianne Gibson. If they come tell their truth, that's in a nail in the coffin, icing on the cake. It is done. It is decorated. It's pretty. Because let me tell you, Farnsworth and Lorianne Gibson, the way he treated, I'm surprised Lorianne has not stepped out and said the things that she dealt with Diddy. Because the way we seen him fire her and the time she said it on the show, and I don't think nobody paid attention. Where he cussed at her, she was cussing back, and he was like, "That's what I'm talking about. See how you effing cussing at me, B?" Did her? She said, "You know what? That's your last time." And she walked out. Remember, she said, I taught these girls morning, noon, and night. There was never a day I was never with them girls, teaching them the choreography all day. She said there was never a day, excuse me, you never seen me out there with them for choreography for these albums and shows, and you want to fire me? I think this was day 26. It was one of them. She said that she was with them, and that showed proof that they were filmed longer than what they filmed and longer than what he allowed them to film. Even Dawn would say she went to the hospital to show them she had to eat and drink everything, and he was sitting here eat steak and stuff in front of gourmet meals, and while Kalina and Dawn didn't eat. You would be a lie because he would be pissed off at me because I would have ordered some food from somewhere and sat down and ate it. And what are you gonna do? Yes, I'm gonna act mean and rude. I'm hungry, nigga. Like, what are you talking about? Are you serious? You can't deprive no woman of her food. Like, what is wrong with you? So I don't know how this is gonna go tomorrow. Well, first before I get into tomorrow, well, we're gonna go tomorrow. Then we're gonna jump into September. Tomorrow, I will be. I know y'all want to talk about Bree. We gonna talk about Bree. I know y'all wanted that this live to be about her. I'm saving it for tomorrow because I know y'all gonna be like, we heard this before. We're gonna start her off on the live. Then we're gonna go into Mr. Barnacle Man and his wife, who sat here and said she was going to the doctor and we ain't got no test results. So she got that pack. And her and that man know they had that pack and they out here giving it to people. Yes, we're going to talk about Miss Jessica Gibbs and that man. We sure are tomorrow. We're also going to talk about the Ohio and Haitian influential day. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how that started. I'm going to give y'all a little back history. But we are going to talk about Bree tomorrow. We are going to mention some things that sound the same. No shade. Also, September 27th, y'all know my email. I don't care if you got my Facebook, my Instagram. Write me, let me know your scary stories. If not, I'll post mine. If you feel comfortable with me to post mine first, the whole month of October, you can still send them in around that time and I will read them on here and go live. I will pick a day for a spooky day. After I go live, I'll do either a spooky video or we'll do a spooky live and we'll go from there. But tomorrow is gonna be a very, very long live. I'm not gonna give y'all this one too long. I'm going to max it to 2 hours. I'm gonna try to get every information in that I can in 2 hours. Make sure the kids asleep. Lay with your husband. Do what you gotta do first. And we're gonna go live. I may go live in the afternoon because I know most of y'all like to be with y'all. Man, it is getting cold and most of y'all are booted up for the fall. I get it. Understand it. We're gonna talk about it because the lies that's recanting with this Asian thing is y'all finna be amazed. I'm gonna give y'all the receipts. The lies that this girl doing the crime, because we heard it all before. I'm gonna give y'all the receipts. I got them all. It's gonna be lie, tell all tomorrow. So get ready. Make sure you got your drink, your cocktail, your wine, your soda, juice, whatever. I'm gonna try to go live around 2 to 5. We'll see how my day go, and we'll go there. I'll put a schedule, you'll see it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Ladies, ladies, men, take heed to what's going on with this stuff. Be mindful of what you do and what you say and who you deal with. Have a great night. I'm going to bed. My allergies is kicking my butt. See you guys tomorrow.